college major might not be as major as you think. I mean, you will have to pick one, and it's a good idea to put some careful thought into that choice. There's just not really one right choice. So you can relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and let study all help make your decision a little less stressful, mysterious, and well, major. Hi, I'm Erica Brzozowski, and here are a few things to know about choosing a college major. I'll just get it out of the way and reveal that I was a linguistics major, and I don't remember how I made that decision. What I do remember is being a little bit stressed out about it, because your college major does have an impact. While you're in school, you'll spend a significant chunk of time talking and thinking and writing about a particular thing, and answering questions about it like, what are you studying? Is that a real subject? But what are you going to do with that? And maybe those questions feel a bit intimidating. After graduation, you'll have to do something, and some majors lead more smoothly to certain graduate programs or jobs than others. Like the elementary education major to second grade teacher pipeline is a bit more clear than the art history major to barista to grad school to nonprofit grant writer pipeline. Plus, you've seen the headlines. College is super expensive. You might graduate with a pile of debt. And getting a job in this economy, it's not easy. So it's tempting to try to pick a major that seems the most likely to land you a high-paying job immediately after graduation, so you don't become one of those statistics. Though if I'm trying to do that, I might as well pull out my crystal ball. On the other hand, maybe that sounds soul-crushing, and you've got nightmares about reaching the end of your life and being miserable and regretting everything, all because of a decision you made before you even started college. I get it. It can feel like you're mapping out your entire life, and your family, your teachers, your bank account, and the looming job market are all trying to push you in different directions. Those things can be hard to navigate. Maybe they're helpful, or maybe they're gonna swing your compass more than you want. So it's good to be aware of all the factors at play, and how they interact with what you know about yourself. What's most valuable to you, where you think you'll find success, and what kind of future you're interested in pursuing. To figure that out, you can start with a bit of soul searching. Maybe it helps you to make a list, or a mind map, or an interpretive dance. Okay, maybe not that one. But you could try looking at your calendar or YouTube watch history, or even doing one of those personality quizzes. Who knows? Maybe knowing you're more of an everything bagel than a jalapeno cheddar will provide some helpful perspective. However you decide to do it, this is the moment to think about your hobbies, goals, lifestyle preferences, favorite classes, favorite projects in those classes, how you like to work, whether you like to work with people, what other people say about you, and if you think it's true. We're on a fact-finding mission here. Take me. My mind goes blank the second someone asks me what my hobbies are, but I do have them. Here's where I'd start my brainstorm. I'm a huge foodie, especially when it comes to soup. I'm always trying to perfect my recipes, and I love making food for myself and others. My family is from Taiwan, and that heritage is important to me. So I'm part of several community groups for Asian Americans. I also know that some of my goals are to work with students, publish a book, and live most of my life in Massachusetts, the greatest of all the states. Don't argue with me, you're just wrong. My favorite class was probably English because I like to read, but I also loved learning languages. And I was fascinated by the way that learning a language like Spanish or Latin can help you understand how language is constructed. Turns out verb conjugations can be useful. I also love talking to folks and learning their stories. My friends and family would probably say I'm a good listener and that I ask a lot of questions. I think that's fairly accurate. I'm just naturally curious and I love learning. So there's a list of things I enjoy and am interested in. But I can also think about what worries I have. Like before I started at UT Austin, I was worried about being able to balance the workload of my classes with the clubs I knew I wanted to join. Once I have a list, I'll look for patterns. What I'm seeing here is that I like creative environments and I like stuff that involves people, whether that's working with them or studying them. Now, armed with some self-knowledge, it's time to sort through some majors. If you aren't sure what your options are, you can look at the list of majors and minors on any college website, talk to your friends and family about what they studied, or watch a few more study hall videos. Pick a few majors that sound interesting to you or that seem to relate to some of the qualities you've identified in yourself. Then, to figure out if they're really a good fit, you can ask yourself some questions and work through a decision tree, like this one. As an example, let's say I'm considering sociology, since I've heard it has a lot to do with studying people. But I should probably know a bit more than that before I commit to studying this thing for several years. So let's dive in. Question 1. Do I know the kind of work that happens in these classes, and am I excited about it? Majoring in something requires taking a lot of classes in that thing. If you don't know what kind of work is going to be involved in your potential major, like what kind of homework you'll be doing for hours each week for literal years, then go research that and come back. The Study Hall Fast Guide Library has lots of information on different college majors to help you out. For sociology, there's a lot of reading and writing about different theories of how social groups work, which I can definitely connect to my interests. But sociology also requires a decent amount of stats that may or may not thrill me. For now, I'll give it a soft yes. Question 2. Am I prepared to translate the skills I learned in this major to a job? No matter what you major in, you're going to be learning skills, not just facts, and growing as a person. That's going to be helpful for lots of different parts of life. But let's face it, very few of us are able to go through life without having a job. So it's worth putting some thought into the inevitable, so what are you going to do with that? For sociology, I'll be gaining all kinds of skills in research and analysis, which could be useful in everything from law to HR. Since the options are so broad, and it might not always be immediately obvious why my sociology degree relates to the job, I'll need to be able to talk about the value of my skills and show how I can apply them in a variety of scenarios. Question 3. Am I realistic about the lifestyle and salary this path leads me towards? Bridging the gap between what we imagine a field is like and what it's actually like is vital, so our lofty fantasies don't come crashing down come graduation day. Like someone might love majoring in social work but be blissfully ignorant of the average salary of less than $64,000. If they're trying to support a family, things could be tight. As for sociology, I could put my skills and knowledge of people to work in lots of different careers, so job opportunities and salaries could vary a lot. But if I actually want to become a sociologist, the median salary is around $100,000 a year, and job opportunities might be limited since it's not a huge field. I'll also need a graduate degree, so I'll want to consider how I feel about those things. For me, several more years of school and research in a specialized field sounds really exciting. Question 4. Does this major address the pressure and worries I'm feeling? Does its value outweigh my concerns? Cost, jobs, being able to hack the workload, all these concerns still exist along with pressures from your individual situation. For me, the pressures of academia are intimidating, but I genuinely love research, so it feels like the good outweighs the potential stress. But if whatever fulfillment you'd get from a potential major doesn't outweigh the stressors at play, set it aside. Question 5. Will this path bring me nearer to my goals? Will one major choice completely fulfill all your dreams? Of course not. So examine which of your current and probably ever-changing goals a major brings you closer to. What goals might it put on hold? What extra work would I need to put in to also achieve those goals? And am I okay with making those trade-offs? Like, will sociology let me live in Massachusetts, work with students, or publish a book? In the end, these questions help me see that sociology is a possible major for me. And this is just a start. You can add your own questions and run through the process a few times with different options. At the end of that process, you'll probably have a couple frontrunners for what to major in. They should really be a top 1 or 2 ideas, so you can take the next step and start trying these majors on for size. And if you start early enough, you'll have time to evaluate, try them out, and change your mind if they turn out not to be the right fit. One way to try out a major is to just sign up for the first set of classes you need to take. You can also check out the department websites and actually read the professor bios to see what kind of research is going on in those dusty offices and shiny labs. Make sure your assumptions about the major actually reflect reality. Along the way, pay attention to how you react to each new piece of information. Like maybe everyone tells you that you make a great engineer because you're so analytical, and your family is pushing really hard for this path. But if your engineering lab is a complete slog all semester, maybe there's another way to use those critical thinking skills. Logistics? Law? Or maybe at your school, being a music major and completing all the biology requirements to take the MCAT is going to be an overwhelming workload. Are you crushed? If so, think about what that means for you. Maybe music is more important to you than becoming a doctor. Or maybe there's another way to combine your interests. Remember, not everything has to take center stage. For example, maybe one of your interests makes a better minor than major. Or maybe there's a minor that pairs really well with your major. Like I minored in Chinese. I got to learn another language and make all kinds of connections to my linguistics major. If you're still confused, you can always go back to the soul-searching step to look for more ideas. Depending on your school, you may even be able to make your own major based on some of your hobbies and interests. Like if you're obsessed with baseball, maybe you could create a baseball statistics or baseball history major. At the end of the day, you've got many, many options. I was a great linguistics major, but I probably also would have been a great sociology major or English major. When I went to college, I'd also just started a strong flirtation with class blowing. If the classes had been more available, maybe I would have done that. And any of those things could have set me up for an equally interesting and fulfilling career. Ultimately, your major does not equal your job, and no major guarantees you a job, or a fulfilling, stress-free, financially stable life. So congrats on making it this far. You're gonna be a great psychology/English/math/theater/glassblowing, sports statistics, and history major. Before you go, check out Study Hall's Fast Guide series, where we break down more than 50 college majors, what you'll study, common challenges, and the careers they can lead to. And for more college resources, head to GoStudyHall.com. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.